As a note, today's video contains discussion about the leaking of the Halo Infinite campaign. However, I do not mention any spoilers in this video, nor do I discuss how to view or access the leaks. This video is meant mostly as a warning for those trying to avoid spoilers for the first Halo game in 6 years, and if you watch this video, please be courteous and do not leak or spoil the game for anyone who does not want to be spoiled. Roll the intro. Hey guys, this is Zachariah Slaughter. Hello and welcome to another video. And this one's going to be kind of short, and it's also a second upload for today because honestly, I just need to warn you guys about something that's going on in the community, especially if you're a hardcore Halo fan who's been waiting 6 years for Halo Infinite. So, as many of you know, Halo Infinite is currently running a technical test. From my understanding, there are a few 100,000 people invited. I unfortunately was not, which was heartbreaking because I was invited to all the other flights. That's a discussion for another day. But basically, this was to stress and load test various portions of the game, to do bug testing. Not a traditional beta or anything like that. Not really meant for player fun, but still a good way for people to get their hands on the game for the first time. By the way, the footage that I'm including here is from my friend Evil Coleslaw, so shout out to him for letting me use this. Anyway, a lot of you can probably predict what happened next because this is a tale as old as time, or at least as old as modern video games. Whenever a major video game or even piece of software releases, especially when it releases on PC, people will dig through the files to find anything unintentionally left within. In this case, well, there was a lot more than I think even anybody would have expected. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not going to go into any specifics here. This is more of a warning, but I will say that major portions of the game's story, perhaps up until the very ending, have been leaked, as have details related to other game modes and more. And there's a reason why I'm being a little bit careful here, not just because I don't want to spoil people and this video is more about a warning, but because Microsoft could potentially DMCA people who are sharing this information. Now, I think that's a bit tricky. The way that most of this is leaked and the way this traditionally happens is fragments, whether of text or audio file, are inadvertently left within the game, or the tech demo in this case, and they're pulled out, and if you use the right software, whatever else, you can either read the text or listen to the audio, or sometimes even see videos or animation or models or whatever else. Like, you'll see sometimes that people can pull out unused flood models from the old Halo games or unused enemies. Now, I don't think there was anything to that extent leaked. It seems to be most of what was found was text with some audio, as I mentioned. Now, my understanding of DMCA law is that I can discuss pretty much anything. I'm not under contract with 343. There's no law that prevents talking about things. Where you do get in trouble, at least from my understanding, is if you're copying the source material directly, if you're sharing that, because that is copyrighted content. Either way, I'm not doing it and I'm not offering legal advice to anybody. I would recommend you don't share these. That's all I'm going to say, but yeah. So one thing that you'll hear is that, oh, these are just 4chan rumors, or this just comes from people making things up, and that's not the case. As is, frequently the situation, many of these leaks were discussed on 4chan, but as Joe Staten himself said, hey folks, we have unintentionally included a small number of Halo Infinite campaign files in the tech preview build. Unfortunately, these files contain spoilers. Leaks like this are painful for the dev team and can ruin the campaign experience for everyone. So please keep your eye peeled for spoilers and don't spread them if you see them. And Joe's right, this is a really unfortunate situation. I've sort of talked about how people will inadvertently be spoiled because of this, people who've been waiting 6 years, but I do feel really bad for 343. This was a mess up, but these things happen, and we've heard before about how leaks really take the wind out of the sails of game companies and upcoming games, and how they really hurt dev teams who've been working to make this thing for 6 years and who want players to experience it as it was meant, not on some message board on the internet. And this has happened a ton of times. Half-Life 2 was very infamously leaked, which was a huge deal back then. And in a time where games are routinely released in unfinished states, whether for tech demos or whatever else, and these games are also routinely poked at and prodded by a lot of people with very sophisticated software and technology. This is something that's probably only going to get worse, and it's just really unfortunate because I think, although I'm disappointed that I wasn't invited to the tech demo, of course, I think this is a phenomenal thing for Halo Infinite. I can already see lots of good feedback being made online. This is something that 343 will learn from, and I think people are really going at with the right approach. So it's just really disappointing to see a company doing something good basically punished for it. And that's basically all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to keep you informed, up to date, and also, as I mentioned, warned. Two final things to end off with. First of all, don't be a dick. Don't ruin the game. You get nothing out of it. You're just making someone's enjoyment of a piece of media that they've waited for worse. And that's just a lame thing to do. And if you do that for no reason, you're a lowlife. That's my first point. Second, be careful online. I work around leaks a lot. I've personally got no real problem with leaks. I spoiled the Star Wars movies for myself. It's whatever. Here's a few tips that I have though. First of all, if you're active on sites like Twitter, it's very easy to mute certain words. We know the weapon is in the game, for example, so you might want to throw a mute up for that word so you don't see it. If you're active on sites like Reddit, one thing that trolls will often do is DM spoilers to people who are active on, say, the Halo subreddit. So take your own precautions, be careful, hopefully nothing happens, but the game is still a long ways away, and with full plot details out there, it's going to be difficult. So with that, have a good one, guys, be safe, and may the Force be with you.